Two, one. Broadcasting tape delayed from the parking lot of the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, where the Final Four is, because we're out looking for some NIL transfer portal people for college basketball. The Sports Economy Show is on. Today's show, we're talking to Ryan about the transfer portal in college basketball. Pros of it starting early, cons of it starting early, whatever. Why does it start early? Should it be longer than a month? I don't know. So that's what we're going to discuss. And by the time we're done, we will have come up with zero decisions. How's that? So I heard today from an athletic director from a Division I college out here where I live that the reason they start the transfer portal earlier than what people think is good is because it has to do with high school basketball and the fact that they got to get high school basketball players in the portal so they can, I guess, compete for roster spots on the colleges. So the question I have for you, Ryan, is when does the high school basketball tournaments, state championship tournaments end?
The only two the most familiar with just ended. The Kentucky KSHAAA, whatever it is, Kentucky High School.
Athletic
They
Association,
Kentucky State High School, whatever, uh,
whatever.
just ended. Uh, they they do the Sweet 16 the weekend before, and this past weekend was a state championship game. And in Kentucky, they only have one class, and this is the last year they're doing it. Next year, they're going to classes like I guess class one, two, three, four. But this is the last year they did one class. So they're one of the only states I know that still do that, but that's no longer, which is kind of made it fun. You may have a small school playing, they may have a Lyon County playing Bowling Green High School for
Yeah.
state champion, which made it kind of cool. And then Missouri's just ended well. They had the big schools, class 4, 5, and 6 this past weekend. So that was it for those two states.
Okay. So that's probably what it is. The transfer portal probably starts when high school basketball ends because, excuse me, because, sorry about that. I got a cold. It's rough out there because that's what he was discussing is the fact that this has to do with high school basketball players. So all this is going on while the NCAA tournament's going on. There's a lot of people discussing all this stuff. Because I guess, what was I guess last year was the first big year that this really started, and now everybody's starting to learn all these rules about the transfer portal and when it occurs. Do you think it should be after the tournament and extend for how long? Was it? You say it was about 30 days in April?
Yeah, it is. So college basketball is from March 24th to April 22nd. So it's 30-day window right there. So pretty much almost the whole month of April.
Okay. But if they started April 1st, but it would still be the Final Four would still be going on. So I don't know why they can't wait a few extra days, but anyway, that's the way they've decided to do it.
Well, just
So
extend the high school signing period. I mean, why can't you do that? I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
college,
the
you're
big attraction to a lot of teams, this time of year. You got your conference tournament starting around then, and then you got your NCAA tournament. And I've always wondered why some of these colleges' staff is so big. They got all these coaches on
yeah.
the end of the bench, coaches on the front of the bench, coaches in the middle of the bench. Now
Yeah.
I know. Now I know why they need every single one of them because it's it's a lot of hours. And now the transfer portal, like I seen a some interview they were talking about Mark Pope with what he does with his staff, and like during the NCAA tournament when they had a game, the transfer portals, they spend the whole first part of the morning on transfer portal, and then they spend the second half of the day on practice and preparing for the game they got
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
with their
I,
15
s-
staff.
I would assume that out of every team, you probably have at least half the team is in the transfer portal, men's and women's college. Would you think that's realistic?
It may average out to that. I mean,
They do what?
I can think of a team that has one guy that's only in it so far, and then I can think of teams that have everybody, almost
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. But I'm just saying, if
It
you
may average
average them all out,
probably, yeah, probably because I mean, there's thousands of guys in this. I
yeah,
think they said the first year that started there was like 1,600 guys in it. Like
yeah,
the first day, like the first, like whenever this started, 2020 or 2021.
yeah. So as far as women's, I assume they have the same deal. They're out transferring. Everybody's looking for the better deal. The better. I remember the very first time I heard about all this. There was a guy, I think he left Michigan. He signed with Michigan State for like $2.5 million a year to play basketball. I was like, well, that's a great deal. And everybody's like, why would you give this guy this much money? Well, that's the going rate nowadays, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, at that level, at the high major level, I would say that's 1 million or 2 million, probably if you're a decent player.
Yeah. And then does football's transfer portal start right after college basketball, or is it just basically the same time? Because don't they have an April?
It's around the same. It starts a little bit after. It starts April 16th, but it's only 8 or 10 days. That window's only 10 days. It goes to April 25th.
So
So
they
it
have
is
a
around the
10
time.
day transfer portal. I wonder what the purpose of all that is. It seems
But,
weird.
but you got to remember they got two, which it
Yeah.
equals 30 with both of them combined. The other one's a little bit longer.
Okay.
It's December 9th to December 28th, which that's right in the middle of bowl season, right when bowl season starts. So
Well,
there you go.
last year we did a show about a guy. We called the show "Skipping Bowl Games and Getting Paid," because all these guys are still getting paid for NIL money, but then they're going to skip the bowl games because they're trying to get in the NFL draft. Well, is that fair? It was the exact same thing right there. Say we'll use Cooper Flag as an example. I'm not going to play in the championship because I might get hurt and that'll hurt my draft stock. When
Well,
that's the same type of deal.
I'd be writing up some contracts if I was a
Yeah,
member. Look,
I know.
either one of you want to play in this bowl game or you don't.
Yeah.
If not, then we're going to take off $300,000 of your
Well,
NIL.
I mean, just look at it this way. You as a booster, Miami, we'll use Miami, comes to you and says, "Hey, Ryan, we need some money. So, can you give us $100,000 this year?" So you write them a check or send them a Zelle payment, whatever you do, for $100,000. And then a third of the team doesn't play in the bowl game because they're trying to get drafted and they don't want to get hurt. The next year they come around and say, "Ryan, can you give us $150,000?" Knowing good and well that a third of the team's not going to play in the bowl game. You're going to go, "Well, I wanted to see you win a bowl game." They're like, "Well, it's kind of the way it goes." So how would you feel about that?
Yeah, Ryan and
Not good.
I'm a board of curator at the University of Missouri. I'm not structuring my NIL like that. I'm I'm doing set payments. I ain't writing no checks. I'm doing set payments. You're going to get paid like you work a job. You're going to get your biweekly. That's exactly how I'm doing it, and I'm going to set up some
Man,
contracts. Look, hey, we're going to be pretty good this year. We're going to make a bowl game, possibly make
Yeah.
the college playoff, which they play the playoff, they make the playoff. But if they don't, then they're like, all right, I'm opting out of this bowl game. I'm going to go ahead and put my name in the transfer portal, or I'm going to declare for the draft. I don't want to get hurt. So that's what
Well,
they do.
well, 3 games for the end of the season. I'm sure college basketball is like this too. A few games for the end of the season, conference tournament time. They're starting to look into the transfer portal to see where can I go, what kind of money can I look at, because they all have agents that are out there looking.
It's
You
not
know,
quite there yet, but I see college basketball easing up, ending up just like college football in that sense. The transfer portal starts around when the conference tournament's going on.
yeah,
It's going to become less and less relevant.
yeah.
I believe.
Sooner or later, I think they're going to have to start signing some contracts because of what we
Yeah,
just talked about. Like, hey, I'm not going to play in this conference tournament because it might hurt my draft stock if they see how good I'm really not. you
yeah.
know.
See, some of these guys are going to be in luck because you ride the boat anyway. You don't play anyway, so you don't make.
So yeah, it is interesting. Half your team's like, hey, we might not be here next year. So you as a coach, it's hard. Like, well, I got to go find all these players, but then this guy might come back, which I want on my team, but I can't count on him coming back because he might get a better deal somewhere. That's hard on you,
Yeah, I
you
seen
know?
He was Missouri's backup quarterback last year. He just entered his name in the transfer portal again, and this will be his fourth school. Which I think he liked Missouri, I think, but he just knew he wasn't going to get to play next year with this guy from Penn State. They just signed for $1.5 million.
Yeah.
They're looking for him to be the starter, and then they have another guy that was a 4-star out of high school that has a lot of upside too. So he's just thinking he's not going to get to play.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have found anybody in the portal. I think he would have stayed because he would have had a shot at being a starter, but
They
he's just
found a
not.
guy. They found a guy who was willing to take their money because he couldn't find another school that was offering him that much money. So I've got this theory that they're going to start doing in season trades one of these days. Hey, everybody's getting paid. The pro sports do it, right?
Yeah,
Why not college?
yeah, and start setting them up with contracts, just like the pros.
Yeah, yeah. No trade contracts,
Yeah,
or we decided when we trade you, we decided when we cut you, whatever. That's the way it goes, man. That's big time sports. So I don't know if I like the whole idea of the every single year you can go to any school you want. I think you should at least have to stay for 2 years because
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard on the coaching staff.
yeah. It's too much.
Like,
There's no
man,
there's no break for them like they used to be. They're working all the time.
yeah,
Between portal, the season, high school recruiting,
yeah.
and then being an ambassador for the school. There's no break for them.
Because they got to get out there and raise money because they got to get boosters to give money so they can sign players.
Yep. And then and a lot of coaches are directly responsible for that. Hey, we want you to start calling up all these alumni that
Yeah,
have big time businesses and see if you can get
yeah,
them interested. Hey man, we'll hook you up to some box seats at a game. You wanna donate some money?
yeah.
I
Can
know
you?
for a fact Drinkwitz over Missouri is doing that.
Yeah, they
And
all are. They've all
yeah,
coaches have always had to schmooze with boosters. It's always
yeah,
been that way. But now it's even more so because they have to raise money directly to pay players. So it's a hard gig, I'll tell you that. It's a very hard gig.
yeah. I'd say some of them are worth the money they're getting paid. It's, it's a never ending job from what I
It
can tell.
never it's a never ending job. That's why a lot of coaches are getting out of it. It's like it's too hard doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
that's
it
all.
takes a lot,
Say it again.
like it takes a lot of focus off just trying to get your team better, and practicing is a lot more than just a sport now.
That's that's why they got this massive coaching staff, as you said, because things are going here and here and here and here, and you have to keep up with it. So
They got so many staff members they can't all fit on the bench, and they're sitting behind the bench.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And
they
then you
got a
got your
lot of
managers sitting behind them, your team managers, the water boys. Do you see
football. What?
uh what's the McNeese State? Did you see their manager got an NIL deal? Did you see that?
No, the manager.
The team manager got an NIL deal. He was walking out with a team, and he had like this speaker, and it's one of those big speakers where it has the thing where you can wear it on your neck. It's like
Oh
a
yeah,
badge, a
yeah.
strap.
So it's like a large Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, it's a Bluetooth speaker, but I think the
Yeah, I
brand
know.
is called Tick. Is there
Yeah, I
one
know what you're
called?
talking about.
They gave him an NIL deal, that brand of the
Really?
speaker. And then
Well,
Buffalo Wild Wings turned around and gave him an NIL deal. And then, yeah,
that's
this went
great.
viral. This dude went viral. Like,
Wow.
he's just an average looking kind of overweight dude. He's kind of walking out with a basketball team, and he's blaring this, and the team's behind him like they're getting all
Oh
hyped and
yeah,
stuff. The next thing
he's
you know, this dude's got an NIL deal. And
he's
then Will Wade,
playing music through the speaker.
yeah, and then they win a game in tournament, they upset somebody. Will Wade gets the NC State job now. That's the
Yes.
dude I was telling you about that used to be at LSU. They had
Yeah.
the recruiting violations and paying players
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, he's back in the Power Four now.
Yeah.
And
He signed with North Carolina State, like
yeah,
I guess during the conference tournament.
yeah, it was before he even got to the NCAA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, the manager's following him to NC State. I'm like, cool story.
The manager's going with him. That's
Yeah, the
correct.
manager's going with his NIL deal.
It's a pretty good deal. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to let you go before I start coughing to death. That's all I got anyway. So please tell us what your opinion of this whole transfer portal is. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it of no opinion, whatever? You like to see this going around. I tell you what, it gives a lot of people stuff to talk about. It's not boring anymore, is it? You're not talking about just recruiting anymore. You're out there talking about transfer portal and recruiting. Truthfully,
Yeah.
there's less news about recruiting than there is transfer portal.
Yeah, it's live action all the time. Just like the turtle man, the wild man says, live action.
Live action.
Live action. I kind of got mixed emotions about it. I don't necessarily hate it, but I think there's a lot of stuff they can improve on, like, where we're talking about the dates of the portal openings and stuff. But I think it's done a lot of good.
Yeah.
A lot making the playing field more level is the main thing I see. I really like that. You don't have to see Alabama winning one championship every 3 years anymore. It's going to be somebody different.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be somebody come out of nowhere and, that signed that had, like Texas Tech. They were number one in the portal for football. So they could be in it next. But I guess they got all this oil field money, all the big boosters.
Yeah. So you need some big boosters, some deep pockets. It's going to get you far. So, all right. Well, that's all I got. So remember, folks, please like and subscribe so we can continue to go to these parking lots where high school players are playing basketball to give them money to get them in the transfer portal so they can sponsor us. We can put our logo on their jersey. I don't care what the school says. We're going to put our logo on their jersey. So long, everybody.
So long, everybody.